Welcome to YourBostonSports.com. I'm Rob Goodwin, along with my co-host tonight, John Corn.
Good evening, everybody.
How are you tonight?
I'm great.
Doing good.
You like my shirt?
That's a great shirt. Isn't that a great Red Sox shirt?
Yeah.
Are you ready to warm up?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready. Spring training.
There's one game where some two old ladies were yelling, put Cook in from the bullpen that night, huh?
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, they never put him in, though.
You want to tell that story?
Sure.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
That was
But I still remember it, though.
back in '86. I remember Tom Seaver was pitching that game.
Uh-huh.
And
What happened?
He got knocked. He got taken out. Bob Stanley came in. He got racked. The bullpen, and then you kept yelling, "Put Cook in."
You're right. We were right behind the Red Sox bullpen, so it made sense.
Put Cook in. Put Cook in.
Right.
So these ladies behind us said,
how old were they?
Oh, they were probably like our age then.
I seem to remember like they were in their 80s. These two old ladies.
No, they were our age, but they probably looked like they were in their 80s.
No,
we were in our 20s.
Okay, they were in their 70s.
Okay, but they're saying, well, one lady said, "You want to leave?" It was like the score was 9-2 or something like that. Yep. They were losing. He goes, where do we put Cook in? Let's see if they put Cook in. I think they thought there was really someone named Cook in the bullpen.
And they didn't put Cook in. What happened?
They lost.
And the ladies left. Because they didn't put Cook in.
They didn't put Cook in.
That's right. Exactly.
But there was nobody named Cook.
No, there wasn't. There are some major leaguers now named Cook.
Yeah.
But no, he wasn't there.
Back then there wasn't.
No. So a lot of exciting things happening in Boston sports, pretty much with all the teams. Let's start with the Celtics. They made a couple of acquisitions at the deadline, as we mentioned earlier show. The big acquisition being Isaiah Thomas. And suddenly they've been doing pretty well. And people are starting to say the word playoffs. And it looks like they can leapfrog two teams to get into the playoffs now. So it's kind of unlikely. They've got 26 wins right now, and they're 10 games below 500. So I guess, the question was asked before, should they tank the season in favor of a lottery pick? And it looks like they didn't do that. Would you have?
Well, why would they do the lottery if they hadn't worked for them before the last couple of times?
Well, that's true.
Aren't you better off just building a team with draft picks around a couple of good veterans?
Well, they've been kind of without the couple of veterans so far. But you're right. They did have a couple of terrible experiences with the draft lottery, and I don't really like the fact that any teams, well, I can't say allowed, but any team goes and tanks a season for a lottery pick. I guess there are some teams in last place or close to it that still think they have a good team that, they could use to build around one player, like, Larry Bird, which obviously comes around once in a generation, or Michael Jordan. But the fact is, as you mentioned, the Patriots' experience in the draft lottery has not been very good. So I'm with you. I like the idea of building a team around a couple of veterans. Unfortunately, Jared Sullinger is out for this season with a bad foot, which kind of has hurt them, but hurts them even now that they have Isaiah Thomas coming off the bench. And the issue is that Sullinger, plain and simple, was out of shape. And last time I remember, there was a player out of shape with the Celtics.
Are there any free agents out there that they can?
Well, I don't know, but Cedric Maxwell was out of shape. They kicked him out. So I'm sure there are.
I mean, basketball is not like baseball. You can one guy can make a big difference on an NBA team.
That's true. So, they're pushing towards the playoffs, and if they don't make it, they don't make it. Right now, I think they're 10th, I think. And I think it's 8 teams that make it. And the Bruins, speaking of playoffs, the Bruins are right now in the spot for the second wild card in their division. And they just had a couple of good wins against the Red Wings and the Flyers. And, they picked up a couple of forwards at the trade deadline. And I think that's a good thing as far as, adding to the scoring punch. But I think it's good that they got past the trade deadline finally.
Yeah, the players don't have the pressure of wondering if they're going to still be on the team after the trade deadline, that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now, it looks like...
How many games do you have left?
You had to ask. 10? 20? Really? I don't know. I got to be honest with you. I don't know.
The season goes by fast, huh?
Yeah. Well, they've got 76 points, I think. So right now they were in the second wild card spot, and if the season were to end today, they'd play Montreal in the opening round. Now remember, last year they were looking really good into the playoffs, played Montreal and lost. Now they'll be going to the playoffs, supposedly from a little bit of weakness given their record. But in a series like that, everyone expects the Canadians to beat them, and maybe the Bruins could surprise them.
Is the wild card? Are they all 7-game series in the?
I think the first one is 5.
5.
But what do you think? I mean, the Bruins are kind of that last wild card spot, playing the number 1 seed, but yet if they go into the playoffs on a roll, anything can happen.
Anything can happen,
right?
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens. I mean, we've seen that happen before in baseball, where a team that has a losing record ends up in the NLCS or ALCS. So who knows? I mean, maybe being underdogs with low expectations wouldn't be the worst thing for the Bruins this time around.
Yeah, I think baseball is more likely to see an inferior, quote unquote, inferior team beat a superior team because of the nature of the game.
Sure.
That's why the longer the postseason gets in baseball, the less I like it. Really, I mean it's exciting.
Exciting. I don't like the 1-game playoffs, but they are exciting.
I think hockey and football and basketball. I think the better team usually wins more so than in baseball.
Right. So before we get to the Red Sox, we've got to talk about the Patriots. Not only did they win the Super Bowl, but there's a lot going on with free agency right now, and that was quite a game. What an ending! What an ending! So right now the word is that Shane Vereen is signed with the Giants, so he's gone. Reggie Bush could come to the Patriots. Vince Wilfork was not re-signed. Darrelle Revis may come back to the Patriots, and it depends. I mean, supposedly the Jets may be front runners for Darrelle Revis, although I don't know why he would go back to the Jets. And Devin McCourty has signed for the Patriots for 5 years, which is a good thing. So, one question is, did they not re-sign Wilfork in order for them to be able to sign McCourty and Revis? Now, I said to Steve Dresner on the phone the other day that Revis will show me a lot if he comes back to the Patriots, because chances are he'll be making less money than if he were to go somewhere else. And they did not use a franchise tag on Darrelle Revis. How important is he to the defense at that corner position? Shut down corner or not? Which would you rather have? Easy answer. Yeah. Big time difference in the secondary when you have Darrelle Revis. So supposedly they're talking, and we'll see what happens. So I hope they sign him. I hope he chooses to sign with the Patriots, and I think they'll be returning a good team next year.
Now you said the Jets are offering him.
The Jets are interested. Yep. But always some team comes in and before you know it, swoops in and grabs the player, and you wouldn't expect that particular team. Now the other rumor is Reggie Bush may come to Foxborough. Percy Harvin, released by the Jets, may come to Foxborough. So lot of interesting possibilities there, and a lot of teams are making a lot of moves right now. Being that they're able to. So we'll see what happens. Okay, Red Sox. So we drove through a snowstorm to get to an event. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, the winter. What do they call that?
Red Sox winter weekend at Foxwoods.
Red Sox winter weekend at Foxwoods. That's right. And I guess Pedro was there.
Everybody was there.
Everybody was there, but we didn't see everybody because there were so many people there. And we had our schedule to stick to. Yeah, but we saw Joe Kelly.
We did
from he came in that trade, that Lackey for Kelly trade with the Cardinals.
Yeah. Now remember, for those of you who didn't go, it was a terrible day, and we did drive there with several thousand other Red Sox fans, and you were guaranteed one autograph and one photo op. So the autograph was with Joe Kelly. I invited him on the show, by the way. And I did give him my card. I don't know why I haven't heard from him. So if he's watching the show,
he's busy.
He's busy now, but he wasn't busy for a little while.
He could be Boston's #1 starter this year.
He could be. Well, that's why I wanted to have him on the show. Yeah. But I haven't heard back from him yet. So if he's watching, Joe, we're waiting for you to call. And
we met Jerry Remy.
The
voice of the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Not only the voice of the Red Sox, but a former All-Star second baseman for the Red Sox.
And that wasn't even our planned autograph. That wasn't even our planned autograph.
That was a thrill to get Jerry Remy's autograph. He's Mr. Red Sox.
He is. And we appreciate Jerry doing that. That was not part of the program, we did have our photo op session was with Pablo Sandoval. So John, myself, and my friend Scotty Mack got our picture taken with Pablo Sandoval. I told Pablo he was Big Papi too. I think he liked that. And then with Remy, Nesson was broadcasting all day. They had their set. And as we were leaving, that's when we saw a line forming for an autograph. There's maybe, 20 people in line. And it was Jerry Remy.
Yep.
So we actually went on the Nesson set individually, had our picture taken with Jerry Remy. Got a ball signed by him, which I agree was a great thrill. And a great event for anyone to go. I mean, if we had stayed in the ballroom where the Nesson set was, we probably would have seen everybody, because at one time or another, everyone came through there. Tom Warner played ping pong against Pedroia, and there was a ton of stuff going on. Don Orsillo.
We did get to see the 75 World Series team, 1975.
So we saw the panel.
Yeah, the panel.
Who was on the panel? It was
Fisk, Rice, Lynn,
Tiant,
and Bill Lee.
That's right, and Bill Lee. Very entertaining. Very entertaining. And speaking of Bill Lee, on March 2nd, we went to the World Series Club of Hartford County, their monthly meeting, and the guest was Bill Lee. What'd you think? Entertaining?
Yeah.
Colorful.
Very colorful, yeah. He still pitches. He plays semi-professional baseball, and he still pitches. He pitches more innings now than he did when he was a major leaguer.
And he's supposed to pitch a game in Manchester, Connecticut at some point, he said. I'm not sure when that is.
I always find it interesting sometimes these major league players, they seem to want to talk about things like that more than they do about their I think they have a passion for the game. They never would be where they were if they didn't, but I think we sort of romanticize it more than they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time we had him on the phone, I was starting to talk about the stellar performances he put on in the World Series. And he said, thank you. And then he started talking. He was watching the Red Sox game while he was talking. He wanted to talk about the game.
Yeah.
He was watching. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Exactly.
It's almost like that was then and this is now type thing.
That's right.
And
well, there
I noticed that now. He kept talking about his he was answering questions about the old Red Sox teams, but he kept bringing the conversation to him playing now.
Yeah. And there were a lot of kids in attendance, as always, at the World Series Club. Not all the stories that Bill told were for kids.
No.
But that's okay.
No, he has a very colorful vocabulary,
and to say the least. and the World Series Club of Hartford might as well say that we believe they're going to have a one last meeting in late this month. We're not sure who it's going to be.
One last meeting?
I think so. So they got one more meeting to go, I believe. And if you're interested in joining,
until when?
Well, it's only I think the last meeting's in April.
What do you mean the last meeting
of the year? In other words, they don't have meetings. I think they
they don't do it in the summer.
They don't do it during the season. Okay, no. Yeah. So it sounds like they're going to have one last meeting with one last guest this month, but we don't know who it's going to be. And I will say it's a great organization. It's been in business. It's been around for over 80 years, since I think 1926. Go to the website, worldseriesclub.com. You can join if you want to. If you don't want to join, the fee is a little bit higher for each meeting, but it includes dinner.
And kids under 14 get in for free?
Right. And the meetings are either in West Hartford, Connecticut, or actually both locations are in West Hartford. One of them is kind of closer to Newington, but they're both in West Hartford. Get on the website, worldseriesclub.com. It's a great organization. I wish I'd been going to the meetings a lot longer than just this year. We had a lot of fun.
Yep.
So Red Sox are in a 5-game winning streak. That doesn't bode well for in spring training, does it?
And yeah, I know.
That's not a good thing.
No. Their pitching looks good, though.
It does look good.
Masterson had a three shutout innings today.
I think it was 3 perfect innings today.
Did he?
I think it was 3 perfect innings. Yep.
Porcello looks very good.
Porcello looks good. Buchholz, not bad. Miley looks good.
Now, what about Uehara?
He's healthy. Apparently, he was not healthy at the end of last year. That's why they shut him down for a couple of weeks. And he did come back stronger, which is good. And I guess, they did put him through a physical and make sure he was okay physically, because they signed him for 2 years. So he'll be here this year and next.
Let me ask you something.
But they're probably going slow.
The guy's 40. Let me ask you something. I've never heard so many rumors about something that never happens. Cole Hamels of the Philadelphia Phillies. It's rumored that the Red Sox, they've been talking to the Red Sox. They want some prospects for him, and the Yankees also are talking to Cole Hamels. Nothing's happening,
Right.
but do you think they will go after a frontline pitcher like that?
Not right now, unless the Phillies bring down what their requirements are. I don't think they'll get Cole Hamels. They may make a move at the deadline depending on where the team is in the standings, and we expect them to be at the top or close to the top.
If they're in a pennant race,
right?
They will go after him.
And it'll depend on who's in the rotation, who's hurt, who's not, who's had a good year, who has not. They'll make tough decisions like that, and they'll have to decide if they want to make an acquisition at that point. I would think at some point they would make a move of some sort, and if they don't make it now, you have to think it will be around the deadline.
Yeah, because you need a guy like that in October.
Well, anybody
a
could
quote unquote number one starter.
Well, anybody could emerge. Joe Kelly could emerge. Porcello could emerge. You don't know. Somebody could step up and play that role. So, but I would agree. They will have to, determine if that's what they need at that time.
They've always gone after a guy like that, though. It was Clemens in the '80s, Hurst, and it was later on. It was Schilling, Pedro. Later on, it was Beckett and Lester.
Sure.
They've always gone after a frontline pitcher.
Right,
I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna go after a guy like that. They're just being patient. They don't need him until July. They're gonna, if they're in first place in July, they'll want him for the playoffs.
Right.
So.
And the offense, I think, as Steve Dresner pointed out, he was watching batting practice, which isn't always an indicator, but the balls he said flying out were unbelievable. And he thought the offense looked great. They have a great offense. Hanley Ramirez, Sandoval. Now, what's interesting is now Victorino, I guess, was sat out for sore legs, but he was supposed to play, I think, today or tomorrow.
He's still hampered with injuries, huh?
Well, I guess back surgery. The back is connected to the legs, so there could be something residual there. But I had heard that he's going to start hitting left-handed again. So that's good because being a switch hitter.
I think Mookie Betts is their next right fielder, not Victorino.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
But Victorino switch hitting means
they're not going to waste their time with a guy that's No, they're no.
No, huh?
He's no.
Well, let's say he does play. I think it's a good thing that he'll switch hit because their lineup is still kind of right-handed heavy.
Did you hear the way he was talking? Kind of like a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah,
type thing. He knows. He knows it's a very short leash on him. They got a ton of young outfielders and
Alan Craig.
They got Alan Craig. They got Castillo. They got Betts. They got Hanley Ramirez. And then they got Nava.
Yeah.
One of those guys will probably get traded.
Somebody's got to get traded.
But hey, maybe Victorino will surprise us. Maybe he'll work through these injuries. But how old is he? 37?
Oh no, I think he's 33. He's
okay.
He's not that. He's not.
Okay.
Not that. I don't think he's that old.
Once
Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think
you've
he's
had
that
back
old.
surgery. That's. Well, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Yeah. No, that's a tough injury surgery to come back from, and he's done it. Obviously, he's out there.
Yeah.
But so of course Grady Sizemore was out there last year too, and not that he had back surgery, but he didn't work out as planned. But I think they owe Victorino a shot. I think they owe him a shot. He meant so much. He meant so much to the team.
Yankees are giving A-Rod a shot for crying out loud.
Yeah. He meant so much to the team in 2013.
Oh.
You know what Bill Lee said about A-Rod? Get out your checkbook. although Billy did say he forgives A-Rod.
How long do you think he'll last?
Bill Lee?
No, A-Rod.
I don't know.
His days.
Maybe this year.
His days are numbered.
Do you think they'll keep around just for the heck of it if he's not hitting well?
What's he going to do? Bat DH against lefties?
He's going to DH
against left-handed pitchers or something, or pinch hit.
Well, he'll DH.
There's no room for a guy like that.
He'll DH. He may play a little bit of first base when Teixeira needs a day off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good luck. I'll tell you. Good luck to the Yankees. I don't feel bad for him, but
so what do the different divisions look like to you? You got the American League East. We got the Red Sox. We got Baltimore, and we got Toronto. Those are probably the three teams. Sorry, I don't think the Yankees or the Tampa Bay are going to do anything here. But Boston, and then the Central we have Cleveland. The White Sox have a really good team this year.
They made some acquisitions.
And Detroit. The West, we got California.
And the A's.
And Oakland.
The A's got Ben Zobrist.
Yeah. And National League, you got Pittsburgh and St. Louis in the same division, right?
Yep, right.
And then you have San Francisco and San Diego and the Dodgers in the West. You got a lot of good teams out there. You do. There's a ton of good teams out there. It's gonna be a fun season.
Yeah. And maybe there'll be a couple of surprises of teams that you haven't mentioned.
Yep.
That's always exciting because you never know who's going to make that last wild card spot.
Texas, they could,
Yeah, they could.
I mean, probably not. They say Houston's got some good pitching.
Boy, it's about time. Yeah. Those fans have suffered for a while.
Yeah.
Huh?
So you're right. You never know. Miami. Miami's got some good defense, good outfield.
They got some good pitching.
Yep. So they had that $325 million outfield.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable. And we thought A-Rod signing for $250 million with Texas years ago was
Where does that money come from in a market like Miami? Florida, there's no.
Well,
that's not baseball.
The poor owners don't have a lot of money. The poor owners.
I mean, you got Boston, New York, and St. Louis. Yeah,
and the Mets maybe.
But Miami, there's no.
Well, the Dodgers have a lot of money.
That's what I'm saying. How does a team like Miami afford to give an outfielder $325 million?
Well, ownership has money apparently, and that's the secret they try to keep from everybody. All the owners are poor, poor things.
Television revenue, I guess. Cable TV.
I don't know how many people you think watch the Marlins on TV. I mean, if the Red Sox ratings have gone down 50% in the last 2 years, how many people do you think are watching the Marlins?
The Red Sox ratings have gone 50.
I don't know if it's 50, but it declined an awful lot.
Really?
Yeah, because there's just other interests in other sports, and I don't know how much people are watching TV. That's the thing. Their ratings are down, and that's why one reason supposedly is why they put so much money into salaries this year with Sandoval and Ramirez, because they need to pump up those ratings. Because the ratings mean a lot, as you point out, are very meaningful when it comes to revenue. Never mind putting people in the seats.
Do you think baseball is losing its popularity? I think.
I've heard that for 30 years.
Well, yeah.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing. They say, kids aren't playing baseball. Well, you know what? In my town, there aren't enough baseball fields. They're being played every single weekend day. They built 3 new fields right near my house. Actually, they revitalized a baseball diamond at the University of Connecticut here in West Hartford. And they revitalized that diamond, and they built 2 more softball fields. One of them is for kids who are disabled, so they can go on the diamond and play in wheelchairs and everything. So, in my town, it's just the opposite.
And most of the stadiums are pretty full.
Yeah.
When you turn a game on, not just in New York, Boston, or St. Louis or Chicago, they're pretty full in Texas and Kansas City.
What about minor league baseball? I mean, here in Hartford, they're building a new stadium downtown for the New Britain Rockcats.
That is dumb.
To move.
That is dumb.
Well, wait, you can say it's dumb, but I will say this. They're building a stadium to move the AA New Britain Rockcats, which are now Colorado Rockies. They're going to move them to Hartford. Providence, for the Pawtucket Red Sox, they're building a new stadium for the Pawtucket Red Sox to move from McCoy Stadium downtown. So there seems to be a lot of interest in minor league baseball. Now, whether or not the Hartford Stadium is worth it or not, I agree with you. It's very questionable.
What's wrong with New Britain Stadium?
Well, they want to try to make it a destination in Hartford for people to come downtown to the game, and then they're building restaurants and shopping and other apartments around the ballpark to kind of bring development to that area. And that area needs it. That's called Downtown North, and it needs it. But But I agree, it's a questionable.
Yeah.
When kids go to a game, do they really care who's playing? Do they really care, who the team's affiliated with or how big the stadium is? And when they go to New Britain, it's a great stadium, one of the best in minor league baseball. It's relatively new, 10 years old. And the kids don't know anything. All they know is they're going to a game for some popcorn, to run around in the field a little bit.
Right.
So I agree. All the money that's been borrowed for that stadium, I I don't know, but they're doing it. And Providence is doing it for them. But Providence, they're moving out of McCoy, which is 5 miles away. The Britain Rockcats are moving to Hartford, 12 miles away. How many people from New Britain who go to the games, and there's a lot, are going to go to Hartford? I really don't know.
Football is geared to its audience. Football knows how to be in front of its audience. Football's audience is Sunday afternoon, okay? Half the country is looking at NFL football,
Right.
okay?
Well, there's only
Baseball-
16. There's only 17 weeks.
Whatever. The football knows how to be in front of its audience. Baseball doesn't do that. Baseball, look at the World Series, 8:30 at night.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
What kid is going to be up till midnight watching the World Series game?
did the NBA know how to get in front of their fans? And the NBA,
Not like football.
Not
does.
like football, but I think the NBA is probably the best sport of all that has a full roster of games in a year. They play 82 games, and I think they do keep the fans' interest. I think they are out in front of the fans. Baseball, maybe not as much, but I will tell you. Do you know what the number one social media property is in terms of all the sports leagues?
No.
MLB.
MLB.
They are the most effective in social media of any league. And from what I understand, there's an awful lot of business that they do with other properties that use their facilities. So MLB, the one area that they do a great job in is social media, MLB.TV.
And baseball pays the closest attention of any sport at all. It's scrutinizing itself. I mean, between the steroid thing and now they're trying to. I don't know how well it's going to work, but they're trying to speed up the game a little bit, and that kind of thing. They're very good at taking a look at themselves and say, okay, we need to make any little changes here and there without changing the nature of the game.
Right.
It never changes. A baseball player 100 years ago could play today. A football player couldn't.
Sure.
Okay. But that being said, they will do things to make the game better, and they're very good at that. So I think baseball is going to be fine. It'll never get the audience football does though.
Right.
Americans love NFL football, but I think it's always going to be the number. Plus, there's so many games. 162 games that they'll be able to have that revenue.
Right. I wonder if Bud Selig would have sped up the game this year, if that was in the works, or if that's Rob Manfred by himself.
He would have what?
If he would have sped up the games with the new rules, or if that's really Rob Manfred himself, making that decision.
Do you think? Do you think they're going to leave it more in the hands of the umpires? Like, in other words, you got to have a little bit of judgment and discretion. In other words, a guy steps out of the batter's box. You fine him every time. You can't. You got to
find him every time.
You got to have a little bit. Like when they're having the powwow out on the mound, the umpire comes out and breaks it up.
Right.
They're going to have to do something like that.
Sure.
With the speed of the game. Okay, guys, come on, play ball.
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Common sense has to step in, and
I think the players will get. I think they'll get used to it.
Yeah.
I think they'll get used to it. We'll see. Poppy said he's going to step out every time, not changing his game, and he's going to be fined $500 every time. And he said, "Well, I'm going to run out of money."
He gets away with murder, doesn't he? That guy, he yells at umpires. He shoots his mouth off. He's on that list. I mean, it's like he's untouchable.
I know. I know. We love him.
Everybody does.
Of course.
The real Mr. October.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
Maybe that's the only time he took steroids. It's October.
Yeah, he keeps getting better.
I don't think he did.
No.
The guys that did and stopped, they dropped like a rock. I don't know if you ever picked up on that.
Yep.
He didn't.
Right.
So I don't think he did. I really don't.
Exactly.
He may have taken something, but it wasn't steroids.
Right. Or it was, he said it was by accident. He didn't know. They all say that, but he's 39. Look at him.
Yeah, he wouldn't be as good as he is without taking it.
Right.
If he took it, if he was taking it at 31, he wouldn't be playing at 39.
Exactly.
Because that's when they stop taking it, they just
right.
And you got to wonder about some of these guys that are all of a sudden they're hitting 10 home runs a year.
Right.
They're injured all the time.
Yep.
So.
Good thoughts. Well,
I always have good thoughts.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining me in your very nice Red Sox bullpen jacket here in the Central Connecticut studio of your.
I'm part of the team.
Exactly.
I've been a fan for so long now.
I know. Me
I've
too.
been a fan for 50 years.
Amazing.
I was 6 years old.
Yep.
Yeah. I should have a 50th anniversary.
You should.
Red Sox cake. Or
Exactly.
something,
A
yeah.
cake? Well, get you a cake.
Cook.
I want to thank everyone for watching and listening on yourbostonsports.com. Check us out on Twitter, on Facebook, on all of our social media properties, as I always say. You can email us at redsoxalley@comcast.net. On our website, yourbostonsports.com, you'll see our Twitter feed, our Facebook feed. You can find our show on Stitcher Smart Radio. They're on Twitter as well, at Stitcher. So if you subscribe on Stitcher, you'll get our show automatically. You don't have to do one thing. So again, thanks for joining us tonight. Have a great evening.
Good night.